they're engaging. So for everybody that is just now joining us, my name is Lee Kendrick. I'm the founder of CreditUturn, and I appreciate you chiming in out there, Kevin and Sherry. And so I want to welcome you to episode 6, and this live stream is going out to all of our app downloaders as well as our credit monitoring subscribers. So anybody that has downloaded or is using the app, this is who we're live streaming to. And again, these are going out live currently on YouTube. In the future, we'll be live streaming to Facebook and Twitter, and possibly LinkedIn simultaneously along with YouTube, but that just hasn't started just yet, but we'll let you know whenever that takes place. So I would definitely encourage you to engage, participate, ask questions. If you don't engage here on the live stream, you also have access to using our forum. If you have downloaded the app and you're not a credit monitoring subscriber, you can read the forum, but you can't actually engage on there. So the actual engagement in the forum is designed for our credit monitoring subscribers, those who have upgraded, to automate their dispute process. So today's topic is, does credit repair erase debt? Okay. Now, before we jump completely into that, I want to remind everybody that we are not a credit repair company and that we are also not attorneys, but I do have over 30 years of credit repair background, financial services background, automotive, mortgage. So not just on the helping a consumer side as far as disputing information that's contained in your credit report, but also knowing the why of why something's being disputed and what the net effect is. So one of the things that we'll cover after we get through the end of does credit repair actually erase your debt is also explaining the net effect to you of what credit repair does. So basically, your debt is always your debt. Okay, so if you turn around and you get like a valid account that you would owe, that if you went to court and the court ruled against you in favor of the creditor or collection company, you need to know that your debt is your debt. So a lot of times I see countless posts per day throughout the entire credit repair industry and from consumers outside of credit repair websites that are just like on credit forums that says, yippee, I just got $30,000 worth of student loans erased, and I'm basically no longer responsible for that. And that's not really that way. There are paths that you can take and avenues that you can go down that do help you eliminate your debt liability, and also some potential things that are in favor of you that are part of state and or federal laws. So again, your debt is always your debt. You can have an agreement in place to waive future collections that would come from a collection company or come from a creditor. Those agreements might be because there have been violations of federal laws or state laws, and they don't want to be held responsible for that, so they just arbitrarily decide that they're going to waive their right to pursue collections from you in the future. That's nice that they do that. That's waiving collections. That doesn't necessarily still waive your debt. To actually waive your debt, you probably would need to file bankruptcy. But again, that's not a necessary thing for you to do as a consumer, because the net effect of filing a bankruptcy can have severe consequences that you deal with for up to 7 or 10 years, depending upon the type of bankruptcy that you file. Sometimes those bankruptcies can get deleted from a credit report if they're not accurate, complete, or verifiable. But you just need to know that, again, just reinforcing today's topic is your debt's your debt unless certain things exist that are in your favor. So another thing that you need to be aware of is there are statutes of limitations. So statute of limitation, what I want to say, the particulars of each of the statute of limitations vary from state to state and also varies depending upon what the type of debt was. So you just need to be aware that there are other things out there that could protect you. However, if you got a notice that you owe a debt, whether you had it deleted from your credit report or not, you need to be aware that you need to be able to properly defend yourself. And sometimes that's just as simple as you showing up for a court appearance. Many times the threats that you receive in the mail from a collector or through a lawsuit, you got served papers, are hollow, meaning that they often don't appear in court. But if you don't appear in court, they could just issue a summary judgment against you. And that debt might have been older. That debt might have been outside the statute of limitations. But if you don't appear, they could just rule against you. And you need to be aware of that possibility. So again, whenever you are challenging items in your credit report, you're disputing or just filing a challenge, depending upon what type of verbiage you prefer, it does not erase your debt. You are ultimately responsible to make sure that you appear if you need to appear in court. You need to make sure that you understand that just because you got a $300,000 tax lien deleted from your credit report, which I've done that numerous times, because believe it or not, people with credit issues aren't just from only one walk of life. Things can appear in anybody's credit. You could just be a doctor and had a big massive judgment filed against you, or you could have been irresponsible as far as like repaying your taxes and have tax liens, or maybe not have known what your tax liabilities were. You didn't save enough money. You had car accidents. You had health issues. Whatever it is. So credit challenges can impact all walks of life, and you need to be aware that whenever I'm doing these lives or I'm engaging with you through like a forum or anything, you just need to be aware that we're not judging anybody, and we're also not speaking just to one class of individuals either. So there is kind of a newer thing right now that whenever you do have some of your liabilities waived, sometimes, and I forget the exact type of 1099, but they could issue you a 1099 that says that you're responsible for some debt that was waived because there was a net effect that was positive to you. So you just need to be aware of that. So again, the net effect of credit disputes, or actually let me rephrase that, it's not again. So the net effect of credit disputes is that you have an opportunity, you have a right, federal rights and across numerous laws that combine together that give you the right to challenge anything that you feel is inaccurate or incomplete or unverifiable that's contained in your credit files. You need to be aware of that. You need to utilize your rights and exercise your rights as well. However, you also need to be aware that even though it doesn't erase your debt obligations, and there are other mechanisms that can erase those debt obligations, you need to be aware that even though that debt obligation isn't erased, the net effect is very positive to you whenever you do get things deleted from your credit files, because you have an opportunity to improve your overall credit rating. If you wanted to do the right thing and you had a valid debt, and you owed it, and it wasn't outside the statute of limitations, it wasn't a situation where you wanted to go file bankruptcy, but you had a major credit improvement and you were able to obtain financing that allowed you to go and enter into an agreement with somebody, making it easier on you to repay a debt either partially or in full, in exchange for a permanent deletion or in exchange for them waiving the debt. And potentially, I've actually seen this one happen, where you could get them to agree to not only waive the collection of the debt, but also agree not to send you a 1099 for any net effect that would have been positive to you. So why they do that, I'm not for sure. I don't know if they're required to, or they have the ability to ignore that. Maybe that's just up to them. But I just want to make sure that you're aware that if you kind of look at it like this, like if you are let's say, I don't know, 58,000 miles on your car, and your powertrain warranty is going to expire at 60,000 miles. If you had an opportunity to improve something about your powertrain or improve the performance of your vehicle or the fuel economy of your vehicle, and it could be just as simple as rotating and balancing your tires or putting on new tires, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't go do that. But oftentimes I'll hear or I'll see people saying, there's no point in disputing something because even if it's deleted from my credit, I'm still going to owe that debt. And that's just like you saying, I'm not going to put new tires on my car and protect me or my family because, it's just not worth it kind of thing. That doesn't make any sense. So I want to remind you of a couple things. So this is my credit ministry. I'm very passionate about what I do. I love what I do. I love being able to affect people's lives in a positive way. And it's really incredible that we've been able to put together this tool that you're in control of and that gives you valuable education, tips, access to information, and also automation so that you remove the procrastination factor from everything. You remove the I don't know what to do factor from everything. And you're literally just have a tool that once you get in there and you upgrade to the credit monitoring and you've taken that first initial 15 minutes to do what you need to do, if you wanted to, you could just walk away in a set it and forget it mode, and it's just going to go to work for you. And in the meantime, I'm going to come to you daily with education tips, tricks. You'll be able to engage on a forum. You can engage on live streams. And up until now, this really didn't exist for you. So just kind of keep that in mind, because up until now, you've just had to use third-party companies that are going to charge you monthly fees, or some better companies that don't charge you a monthly fee and they just charge you for results. And I don't have anything against that at all. I think that that's fantastic that there are companies out there that are knowledgeable, that actually do work on your behalf, that are actually working. There are a lot of people that a really common complaint across a lot of credit forums is that they got scammed. They paid a fee, whether it was an upfront fee, they paid a monthly fee, and then they realized that a month, 2, 3 months in, that not only was nothing happening, but sometimes they weren't even getting credit reports or any evidence that anything was being worked on at all. The power of using our app is that it eliminates all of those fees, plus you know that things are working because you're getting alerts that tell you what your score changes have been. You're getting alerts that tell you whenever things have been deleted, which agency deleted it. You can figure out what was deleted per agency. Currently, right now, we'll tell you that in our mobile app, there are some things that are not tappable, but you can go onto the website at CreditUturn.com, and I appreciate the person putting in the link to CreditUturn.com earlier. Actually, I don't think that they have done that yet. So if you would, somebody that's watching this, if you would please put that in there, I would appreciate it. And but you can log in there. Up in the top right corner, there's a login area where you just put in your username and password. And it's amazing because whenever you log in there is actually a little bit more access to some additional information. Now, in the future, we will have that in the mobile app, full accessibility. You just need to understand that the challenges and the reason why it's not in there yet is literally there are over 40,000 different mobile device operating systems, screen size combinations, and so it makes it a little bit more difficult to put all that in there immediately, but probably somewhere over the next 30, 45 days, hopefully no longer than 60 days, that'll also be contained in a mobile app. And everybody that's had the app for any length of time right now can see that we're frequently updating, and we're coming to you with valuable tips and advice. I actually did see where somebody said that is a 1099-C that you would receive in the event that you still owed money that they had waived, that they had waived their right to collect that debt from you, and they were basically writing that off. You get a 1099-C, which is something you would be responsible for. But again, the net effect of that, let's say that they waived $5,000 that you no longer had to pay. You might end up owing a net effect of $1,000 or $1,500, depending upon what your tax bracket is. We're not going to get into the math, but depending upon what your tax bracket is, that's a huge win for you. Just not being responsible for everything. And if you normally have a tax refund that's coming, basically you're not owing money. They're just basically getting that money back off of the tax refund. So just kind of keep in mind that the net effect is positive, positive, positive for you, especially if you upgrade to the full automation of our credit app and you're just subscribing to our credit monitoring service, as opposed to you subscribing individually to Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion credit monitoring services, or you're just using another credit monitoring service that isn't automating this for you. So keep in mind that there are a lot of positives, and if you have not upgraded, you should. So on that note, we have a lot of automotive, real estate, mortgage, banking partners that love what we're doing so much that they're basically, in essence, covering your cost for you with the exception of your credit monitoring so that you're not responsible for credit repair fees. So if you've been referred to us by one of those automotive, banking, real estate, or mortgage partners, and whenever I'm saying automotive, it could be literally anything with an engine. It could be power sports, it could be an RV dealer, it could be a tractor dealer. So just kind of keep in mind that anybody that has recommended that you download CreditUturn through their link, please be loyal to them. Those places of business really care. Those places of business have said, they've demonstrated monetarily and subscribing, have said, we want to help you make this go viral. We want to help you impact thousands, if not hundreds of thousands or millions of people's lives. In exchange, the only net benefit that they're getting out of it is they'll receive an alert that says your credit score went up. And then they can reach back out to you and engage with you and say, hey, I see that you had some positive results. We either weren't able to help you in the past or we did help you in the past, but I would like to improve your situation. So just kind of keep in mind, they've made an investment in us, in CreditUturn, as well as an investment in yourself, and they're hoping that it increases their business, and it should, because they have demonstrated that they care. So try to be loyal to them. If they reach out to you, if they recommend CreditUturn, by all means, utilize it. They're basically making sure that you're not having to pay credit repair fees. The only thing that you're going to pay for is credit monitoring, and we're even giving you a path in the CreditUturn app where if you want to do things yourself, you can. So again, really appreciate your engagement today. Really appreciate your participation. In closing, please help us make this go viral. Please share the app. Just like our dealer partners are recommending it to you, I'm asking you to help me build a tribe of followers that really want to make a U-turn in their lives, that want to make a credit U-turn, that have been languishing and dealing and suffering with stuff that's contained in their credit reports that they don't know how to deal with, or they're not happy with their scores. They want a new house. Maybe they've been renting. They're overpaying on rent. They're overpaying on auto insurance. They're renting things. They're using check cashing places. They're unbanked, meaning they're not using bank accounts because they've had an old charged off bank account, or they either can't access a car loan. They're using buy here, pay here. They're paying cash for cars. Their car that they have is at the end of its life, or they have a car that they're paying for that they're paying too much as far as the interest rate or payments. By all means, don't keep this secret to yourself. It's kind of like you've got this secret to cure for cancer. So tap those three lines that are in the top left corner of your mobile app. The third link down is a share link, and we give you several different ways that you can share this with people. You can just text it to the closest contacts that you have. You could send it out in Messenger to contacts that you have. You could share it publicly on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, other spaces. You could email it to people. So I'm asking you to stand behind me, to be a force that's to be reckoned with. And in the future, what this really means to you and everybody else participating is we'll also have a bigger voice whenever it comes to making changes in credit laws and making changes in banking laws and being able to demand other things to take place. We'll cover those things in later live streams, but I've really think that there are some major improvements that could happen in the credit industry through better legislation. I don't like to see a lot of new laws, but I do think that they could make some changes. There have been revisions to the Fair Credit Reporting Act and other laws that deal and pertain to credit throughout the years. But I think it's time that they definitely take it to the next level, because they've been making minuscule changes whenever they really need to take a massive leap and recognize that there are some things that are antiquated in the way that they operate. So again, thank you for your participation, and I'll catch up with you possibly tomorrow on another live stream. If not, at the very latest, that would be Monday. So again, thank you very much, and please share.